Dragon Ball Z is widely known as being one of the most popular animes of all time. A continuation of Dragon Ball, it premiered in Japan in 1989 and concluded in 1996. 20 years later, it was revived in a manner of speaking for Dragon Ball Z Kai, a remastered, recut version of the series intended to help with pacing by removing filler amongst other changes. This video is not meant to provide a comprehensive history of the series by any means, and I certainly don't claim to be an expert on the lore, but I wanted to provide a little backstory since I will be discussing important scenes and characters from the story. Personally, I grew up watching DBZ on Toonami and had an older brother who collected all of the VHS tapes. It was actually super cool to see the art of the saga on the sides of the tape collections. I also absorbed a lot via playing Dragon Ball Z games, my favorite being Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3, which I actually recently acquired a new copy of. That game is pure gold. All of that being said, I considered myself a casual fan up until recently. I have been revisiting the series and watching Kai for the first time, and it's resonating with me on a level that it never has before. I could say so much about so much, and likely will in the future, but for now I want to highlight just one part of the series. My favorite era of the show has historically been Gohan's high school days and the subsequent World Tournament. Seeing the Z Fighters reunited and with new character development, and straight up new characters, was so cool. It's kind of funny because I actually think Gohan is a much stronger character when he is a kid, and I don't just mean physically. Even so, he remains pretty cool, and the addition of Videl is a positive one. His high school days and the beginning of the tournament provide world building for this new time era and helps establish a new norm for the characters. After audiences have adapted to that, we are then bombarded with crazy good buildup, too much to cover right now, until we get to the ultimate culmination in the form of Goku versus Kid Buu. Again, there is just so much to talk about here. The Supreme Kai, who is one of my favorite DBZ characters, Gotenks, Ultimate Gohan, Mr. Satan's relationship with Buu, Vegeta's sacrifice and redemption, and so much more. However, I specifically want to focus on the Spirit Bomb utilized in that final fight. This is the move that Goku uses to send Buu off into the afterlife. It is an incredibly beautiful and profound moment. I actually streamed tears while watching it last month. This scene has always stayed with me since my initial viewing as a child, to the point I remember talking about spirit bombs to people in college. It's an amazing concept. The user can gather strength from all of the life and objects around them to pool together energy and power for a massive attack beyond one's strength. Goku was taught this move by King Kai and has used it at different key times throughout the series, but this one is the biggest. In the fight against Kid Buu, we must recognize that it is actually Vegeta's idea to utilize the Spirit Bomb. This scene demonstrates Vegeta's massive growth. Him finally acknowledging that Kakarot is the superior fighter, him defending the planet he has learned to call home, etc. Essentially, after the people of Earth are resurrected via the Dragon Balls, to include Vegeta himself, he communicates with them, demanding they share their energy to power the bomb. Most Earthlings brush him off and don't do anything, but with the urging of Mr. Satan, the entire planet gives their energy to Goku, thus creating a spirit bomb large enough to finish off Kid Buu. Okay, so beyond the cinematic beauty here, why am I choosing to highlight that specific moment, that specific attack? Because I think it is an incredible analogy for our world. Things can seem very precarious and scary and plain old evil right now. It can feel oppressive, like we are powerless and just have to sit here and let evil run amok and dehumanize us in the process. Well, screw that. We the people are the ones with the power. If we unite, we can do anything. In Dragon Ball Z, Buu represents raw and unfiltered evil. His only goal is to destroy and dominate. He's an unflinching terror and seemed unstoppable. He goes beyond other villains previously shown. This is a dark force of destruction whose only goal is to assert itself as the strongest, as the dark victor, and to revel in destruction for destruction's sake. Throughout every form he took, a Z-fighter rose to challenge him, but everyone kept failing. He literally wiped out essentially the entire Earth's population. It seemed hopeless, but it never actually was, just as it never actually is for us either. Even after the worst of things, hope springs eternal. And even the most powerful evil in the universe cannot stop a united front. a human front. So long as we stop fighting with each other and remain open to uniting, we can stop the destruction. The character of Boo hits on the idea that evil, darkness, however you want to describe that terrifying force, will never stop wreaking havoc. It will keep reshaping its form, much like Boo, and keep aiming to dim the light of the world. And I believe this is true to an extent, for without darkness, there can be no light. Without evil, good could not be defined. I am a firm believer that good will always prevail and that the majority are actually on this side, but that does not negate the dark forces that I personally find unfathomable. This idea reminds me of a part of the closing line from Digimon Adventure 02 of all things. It goes like this: "The darkness has not been conquered, and it will continue to fight against the light forever. But as long as people remember to follow their dreams, evil will be kept at bay." It shares a similar sentiment. And translated into our reality, perhaps the best thing we can do to combat the evil and the violence is to do just what was said, to pursue our dreams and passions, to practice being the light, as even the smallest light shines in and interrupts the darkness. It will always supersede it. Another important aspect of the spirit bomb is humanity's initial resistance and ignorance, something that translates into our world as well. So let's wake up and see past the illusions. Let's come together and spread our light. Let's share our positive energy with one another. Together, we can create peace and prosperity. Thank you for watching. This was a bit different from my usual videos. I had the idea to talk about the spirit bomb marinating for a while now, but I was prompted today to make something positive in response to some very negative things I saw. And this is a way for me to shine just a little bit of light and remind us of our inherent power. Please go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe if you're interested. I typically make videos about all sorts of media, mostly nostalgic, and analyze different stories and characters and such. So with that, please take care. Until next time, on Dragon Ball Z.